I'm going to be making my whipped shea butter mix. I normally do this every couple of months for my natural hair and my skin. I'm going to be just showing one way that I do it, and I'll use 3 simple ingredients. Okay, move the bowl out the way. Of course, I will be using 100% natural shea butter. You could get this at practically any beauty supply store. Okay, and this was about $4.50. Not bad. I believe this is 2 pounds. Okay, and if you never, made whipped shea butter before, you're just starting to get into, natural hair products and stuff like that. Shea butter is very hard. Not hard like a brick, but it's it's a very hard consistency, and it may be a little rough at first, but it is smooth. It is excellent for your skin, and it's best to whip it. It goes on much easier. Okay, and it also smells like cooking oil. So what I do is I mix in fragrance oil. I use Love Spell, okay, and strawberry. So this is harmless fragrance oil. Okay, just to if I won't feel like smell like a pot of fried chicken. Okay, this is what it reminds me of. It's like cooking oil. Okay, so that's something optional you could do, is add scented oil. Okay, so I'm gonna put it in my bowl, and I'm going to heat it up on the stove just to melt it down a little bit. Okay, so I got my shea butter in the bowl, and like I said, this is about 2 pounds worth. And this is the bowl. You could save these bowls to put back the whipped product back in. Nothing's wrong with recycling. And I do it all the time. This is my previous batch. And I actually divide my shea butter into 2 different mixes. I put everything together, then when it comes down to my hair, which I keep in a separate container, this is for my skin, this is for my hair, I add a little bit of Dominican deep conditioner. Okay, and you can find this type of conditioner at probably more of an urban beauty supply store. I just put a little bit in because it really makes my hair soft, and it smells so nice. So I add this in towards the end for my hair shape. So it's really good to use a stainless steel bowl like this. You could just put it right over your stove and let your shea butter, or if you use coconut butter, melt down. Put it at a light temperature. Okay, put it really low. Now you can see it's already starting to melt. And don't worry, stuff like this is going to come back to its normal shape, okay? But the next step is you're going to place it in the freezer and you're gonna let everything come together, because of course this is not the final result. It really is liquidy. It looks just like cake mix right now. Okay, it's really soft. It smells good since I added scented oil. So we're going to place this in the freezer for about 10-15 minutes, or maybe about 20 minutes, and it will be a much harder consistency, and it's really going to get that fluffy texture once we mix it again. So this is all your ingredients, and you could add anything else you want to this recipe. Tea tree oil, sometimes I add rapeseed oil. So many different things you could add to this shea butter mix. Of course, shea butter is the base, and you could basically add anything you want. Okay, so we're gonna place this in the freezer. That's my bowl with the shea butter. We're gonna keep that in the freezer for about 10-15 minutes, maybe 20, and you're gonna just make sure that it's a much harder consistency. Okay, and then we're going to whip it again, and it's going to get really fluffy. Okay, so stay tuned. I just took this out the freezer about 20 minutes ago, and as you can see, it's solid. Okay, still smooth to the touch. You could even put your finger through and it will make an indent. So it's not super hard, and you really don't want to leave it in there too long, because we're going to mix it again. Okay, so that step is very important. Once it gets liquefied in the beginning, when I did have it on the stove, freezing it is the second step. Okay, especially if you want the whip consistency. Everything is kind of like settled together. The coconut oil, olive oil, and the shea butter. Okay, so I'm going to whip it and I'm going to put it on a medium setting. Shea butter, as you can see. It's still very fluffy and kind of loose, but what I'm going to do is put it in a container. Okay, I'm going to put it in one of these containers and put it in the refrigerator overnight. Okay, and it'll just get a little bit harder, but not as hard as the shea butter is originally. See, because if you just put it in room temperature when it's really soft and fluffy like this, it's going to melt. So keep it in the refrigerator. It will have that consistency as if you buy Palmer's cocoa butter. It'll still be very soft, but it'll also be firm. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit in my container. This is the one I use for my skin, and then the next batch I'm going to add a little bit of Dominican deep conditioner for my hair. This is going to be for my hair. Okay, this is what I have left over, and I'm just going to add a little bit of deep conditioner, and that's about it. So hope you could. This is all of my shea butter mix. I just want to show you real quick. With a 2-pound container, I was able to get 3 batches out of that mix. This is for my skin. This is the bigger jar. I use this every single day. And these 2 are for my hair. And I did add just a dab of Dominican deep conditioner, because sometimes a little product does work on my hair. I'm not completely natural that I don't put any kind of other products, but I've been using the Dominican deep conditioner for about a couple of years now. Okay, but if I just want to do like a wash and go or kind of define my curls, this works for me. This mix here, the shea butter, the coconut oil, and olive oil. Okay, and the deep conditioner. So this will last me for a while, and definitely this for my skin. So I am going to put all three in the refrigerator, and it's going to settle overnight. It's not going to get hard, but it's just going to settle, and it'll be ready for me to use tomorrow. Okay, so very important. If you leave this in room temperature as is, it's going to melt down a little bit. Okay, so it's best to keep this in the refrigerator so it could firm up. But it's so soft, nice and fluffy. Definitely goes on much easier than the shea butter as is. Okay, and it smells really nice. So I hope you could use this recipe and definitely tweak it up the way you like. So show you how it looks in the morning. Okay, bye.